Welcome to REMelations. We're your hosts.
I'm Mindy.
And I'm Brooke. REMelations is a dream interpretation podcast where we read listeners' dreams. From nightmares to the just plain bizarre, join us as we give you our comedic interpretation of your fucked up REM cycle. This week we've got a premonition dream from Jonathan that includes hospitals, cul-de-sacs, and cab drivers.
And of course, we have catnaps that have to do with ponies from Kazakhstan buying punk clothes at the Ross and very, very slow serial killers. So slow. And stick around, because if you've ever laughed in your sleep or had a partner who laughed in their sleep, you're experiencing something called Hypnogely. Let's talk about
Hypnogely.
And let's get started.
Woo!
Well, hell, it took us a shit show to get here today. You have... Well, considering that we live recorded this weekend, I didn't realize that everything was just still in a bin. So I had to reset up everything in my basement. Yep. And then my computer's like a dinosaur. Dinosaur years old. Yeah, a dinosaur years old. Yeah, and so it took half an hour to update, whenever one Windows update it had to do.
It was literally a half hour.
Yeah. And on your side, you have, of course, the maintenance man there. A lawn mowing going on.
Yep.
We're here, bestie. 101, starting off good.
We hope you can hear us. That's all we can hope for.
Well, let's just get into it then. Brooke, do you have a dream to start?
This is Jonathan, and he's from New York. And I do want to give a PTSD kind of a graphic details warning here a little bit in the middle of the dream. We'll put it in the show notes exactly where it is, so you can skip that part if you'd like. But I'm just going to jump right in.
Oh, well, it makes me nervous, but okay.
Yeah, I know. Had this dream when I was a teen. I'm almost 40 now, so you can understand why I remember it. I dreamed one night that I was a nurse at a hospital. The hospital was located at the end of a cul-de-sac, but literally in the middle. On the right side of the street.
Well, it makes it really convenient for those ambulances to go around circle back around and get back out there. Really throw them out the back door. Keep really circling the cul-de-sac.
You're really efficient.
It is. I like it. I like this idea. All good on my end so far.
This hospital's got it figured out. So on the right side of the street before you hit the cul-de-sac was a huge upscale apartment building, and that's where I lived. Although the building was upscale, the neighborhood was not. So there was a curfew.
It's like buying the worst... We're supposed to buy the worst house in the best neighborhood, not the best house in the worst neighborhood.
Yeah, they did it backwards
there. Yeah. But at least you're right next to the hospital in case you need it. There's the upside.
Very upside. No one was allowed in the building after 10, even if you lived there. That doesn't...
I don't like that curfew. Take me back to high school.
That's pretty early. 10?
Yeah. 10?
And, okay.
I let my high schoolers stay out later than 10. Can you imagine being like a apartment owner and be
like you live there and you can't come in? I'm like, I pay to come in. Yes, I can.
You get all access.
All access pass. I got off one night super late due to some emergencies that came through. I went home exhausted and covered in blood, and the doorman saw me. Sorry, he said, I can't let you in. I pled with him. Come on, you know me. I've lived here forever. He acknowledged that, but still refused me entry. So I decided to go back to the hospital to use the payphone, and Jonathan says... Yes, that long ago, kids, a payphone. A payphone was a phone located on the street that you would put change in to make a call. Those did exist.
Yep. Yeah, we had some in our school lobby even, just because that's what I used to call my mom when I was done with cheerleading. We go over by the trophy cases. Yeah, remember?
Yes, in the front.
Yeah, 35 cents. Gotta call mom and say,
I totally
cheerleading
forgot
practice is
about
over.
This phone. Yeah, there's no cell phones. No,
we had to
sir.
keep that change just in case.
35 cents.
The kids don't even carry change anymore. Like
I don't carry change anymore. Like
no, I don't. I mean, I keep it in my car, but
that is true. I did keep it in my car for like whatever. I used it recently when I saw you at a parking meter.
Oh yeah,
even though you can use apps and stuff, but it's sometimes if it's just quick.
It's kind of just, it's almost satisfying to drop a coin into a parking meter. That sounds bad. It's not really satisfying, but the sound. Not the paying part.
It's the slot machines nowadays, too. You don't hear the ching, 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 ching. Well, it just is a slip of paper that comes
Pastime
out.
of coins. Yeah.
That's all right. So I walked up to the payphone and called a cab company to take me to my parents' house that was apparently about 30 minutes away.
They didn't have a curfew at Mom and Dad's house?
I guess not.
Okay.
30 minutes away might
good.
be in a better non-curfew area.
True.
The cab company said they'd be there in an hour. An hour? Cab company knew the side of town I was in and was afraid to come out there. They warned me if I wasn't outside, they'd just leave. So I walked into the lobby/ER part of the hospital to wait, so I didn't have to wait outside.
Just where they throw the bodies out, the injured.
Yeah.
As they circle around
right
real
there.
quick. Yeah, just
Fast. In and out.
That's what he's got to do to get in the cab. He's just got to jump in while it's moving. It circles around the cul-de-sac and speeds off.
Slow down just a little, and you got to make a run for it. And then you get injured, and they drop you right back off at the hospital.
Yeah, just go to the front of the building again.
They've got a good thing worked out. Okay, so here's where it gets weird. Remember this for later because it's important. And mind you, this was during the Gulf War that I had this dream.
Okay.
As the doors slid open, I saw a lady sitting on a gurney playing with a baby in her lap. She looked incredibly sad. What struck me as odd is that she didn't notice that right above her was a soldier splattered against the wall. I mean, splattered. You could see the camo uniform, the tan boots, the dog tags hanging above her head with blood dripping off of them. Intestines and blood were everywhere. Skin, fractured bones, you name it.
I'm getting the picture here.
I could read the name on the dog tags, though. I can't remember it all these years later, but it was plain as day back then. I could read the name. But neither... Could
you imagine if Jonathan could remember it and then later found out
God,
like it was some sort of like premonition or linked dream?
Whoa, Mindy. That's crazy.
It's almost maybe better he didn't remember.
Well...
oh, boy.
Okay. But neither the mom nor the baby seemed to notice any of this. I was instantly hit with such sadness. I knew deep down this must have been her husband, and she didn't know.
Oh, kill my heart.
I know. I walked back outside, and the cab was there. I got in and gave the cabbie the address. He said, "I know where you're going." And the driver was my dad.
Well, thanks for making that a little lighter there. Oh, okay. Got past the hard part.
We got past the hard part. I was like, what
Why
the hell
don't
are
you
you?
just come right away? It's
Yes. But
Dad's like, I've got other fares I got to pick up, son.
You must wait.
You got to wait in your line and turn until I go home.
He's fair, Cabby. He's a fair. He plays by the rules, Mindy. You'd like that. He doesn't break
Not in that instance, I don't. Nepotism. Sometimes it's okay.
Sometimes it's that should be a t-shirt. Nepotism. Sometimes it's okay.
Sometimes.
I was like, what the hell are you driving a cab for? He said, excuse me? What do you do for work? I said, but Dad, you work in law enforcement. And he says, Dad, I don't know you. He dropped me off at my parents' house without saying another word.
Interesting.
I was about to go inside to figure out why my dad was denying my existence and driving a cab when I woke up.
Just like the hospital. Oh, damn it. I know. I was like, just like the hospital, he circles around to the back of the house and comes in the back door. And he's like, what are you talking about?
I have to
I don't have a cab.
my 2 jobs, my home life and my work life. I don't have a kid. Nope. We're not done yet, though.
Okay. Ooh, okay, good. A little additional story here.
Yes. Okay. Jonathan's got a little more to the story here. So this is after he's woken up. He says, it was morning and I went out to the kitchen to find my parents drinking coffee and reading the paper. The front page had a story about a local military hero that was killed in action the day before. His convoy was hit by an IED. He left behind a wife and small baby. His name, the same name I had seen in my dream. Still freaks me out to this day.
Wow.
So you were right. It was a premonition dream.
Oh my God. I was just wondering, but that's crazy.
You were right. I know. But
I didn't mean to spoil your surprise there.
It wasn't a surprise. Well, kind of.
No, sorry about that. I just sometimes things come to my brain. I just have to say them. I apologize.
That's all right. That's what we're here for. We're here to listen.
That's why we have a podcast. So Mindy can get everything outside of her brain.
We'll just give Mindy, we'll do Mindy's quarter, and we'll just let her talk nonstop for 10 minutes, get it all out.
Yep, sometimes I need that.
This dream is really interesting to me because it's very difficult. Let me see how I want to say this. It's very difficult to interpret because I don't know if there's necessarily a lot to interpret. There's symbols in it, but it clearly ends up being a premonition dream. Because at first you're kind of like, okay, it takes place in a hospital and he's a nurse, but he's only a teenager at the time, So why
I forgot that he's only a teenager too.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's like, yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he did say it was the Gulf War was happening and maybe he just saw too much coverage on the news, or maybe he wanted to be a nurse someday, or it's just in his nature to help others. Because there didn't really seem to be much of a thread. Like, okay, you're at a hospital. Now you're in a cul-de-sac. Now there's a soldier. I just feel like the symbolism is really more literal. But lots of stuff within the dream, like the cul-de-sac and an upscale building. To me, those seem like good things, right? You think of cul-de-sac, represents safety. It's at the end of the street there. The nice building represents comfort, idealism, but yet it's in a very bad part of town.
Yeah, but it's still secure. Even a cul-de-sac, you can't go down it you can't just drive by a cul-de-sac. You have to turn around and go out the way you came.
Slow, yeah.
Just like a secure building. You kind of have to go in one exit, out one exit, as long as it's before 10 p.m. And I mean, I would
Everyone
just slip the
knows
doorman like a 20, man. Just dude,
dude,
I'm exhausted.
He's covered in blood. Because he said he was working at the hospital.
Yeah.
Let him in, man. He's had a long day. But
so there is a bit of a secure feeling kind of with those things. I agree.
And like I said, the dichotomy of it, the opposites, is what I kind of find interesting throughout the dream. The cul-de-sac versus that it's being in a bad part of town. But you said there's still security there. And who knows what little Jonathan was seeing or hearing this whole time. I mean, I remember during the Gulf War, I mean, we were young, but still seeing so much coverage of it. It's just kind of terrifying. I wonder if he was just living through this moment in time and had all this shit going through his head. But
I'm also curious of how old he was as a teenager, because I think there's a big difference between 13 and 18. You know what I mean?
Big difference. Yeah, there is. So that is a good question.
What age of teenagers? I'm just curious, because I think your view, especially on world affairs such as a war, is going to be a lot different at 13. It's more abstract at the age of 13 than it is at 18, where you're like, people my age are going over there and getting killed. Yes. So, I'm curious about that.
The thing that I found interesting, you called it was a premonition dream. But what was the connection to that? You spoiled it. You ruined the whole podcast. Thanks a lot. What's the connection to the soldier? I mean, usually, not always, but a premonition dreams tend to be about yourself or someone you know. But yet he had this person's exact name in his dream.
Yeah.
That was on the dog tags, and then it was the soldier's real name in real life. So the dream was brutally graphic too, which is like, what was bringing this particular soldier to his dream? That was kind of like my only question, except for, I guess, the dad part is my only mystery. The dad driving the cab and like denying.
Dad, not your dad?
Dad, not dad.
Cabby dad? Cabby daddy.
Cabby daddy denying his existence. What? Oh my God, the rejection.
He's like, son? What son?
I was like, no. I did just want to touch on a couple points that I looked up about rejection in dreams. And of course, as we always say, it really does matter who the dreamer is, but it could give some explanation or some insight into what Jonathan maybe was going through his head. Like, since it's not like a real clear, like, oh, this seems like a stress dream, or this seems like this type of dream. This just seems kind of like a bad dream, but nothing stands out. But to dream of being rejected represents a lack of self-worth or feeling unimportant. And it could also reflect disappointment after trying really hard at something or having high expectations and feeling failure. So maybe that has to do with kind of...
I think it's interesting that rejection in dream really is the same as what it means in real life. In this example, like, it's rejection is just rejection across the board. Doesn't matter what state of consciousness you are in.
And maybe that is the key part of the dream, because he's rejected from going home. He's rejected from getting a cab in a timely manner, and then he's rejected by his dad, like.
Yeah. I think you're onto something there.
Well, I think you're onto something, because in waking life, we constantly deal with rejection. Like you said, it's the same thing. But with every success, we have to encounter a rejection, right? There has to be a balance. So, but the good thing about dreaming about rejection is that it doesn't have to be due to a negative situation in your waking life. It could be about facing a fear or something similar to that. So it really does, though, to me, seem like if there's any connection, any thread throughout this dream is this rejection theme, or not being able to do or go where you need to be. Maybe that's his struggle. But premonition dreams, man, they get me every
no
time.
wonder it stuck with him all these years. Yeah.
I want to know if he's ever looked in, like you said, kind of when you were talking about premonitions, if he's ever really looked into more about this particular man, this soldier that died, and why he maybe dreamt about him.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. Jonathan, let us know. Do a follow-up. We'd love to hear it. Hey, bestie, if you're like Jonathan and have a dream, whether it's a premonition dream or just a little catnap, we want to hear about it. And one way you can share your dream with us is by going to REMelations.com/support. Not only can you share a dream, but you can also follow our social media, find us on Facebook, order merch, or join our sleepover squad. REMelations.com/support.
Ooh, nice. Mindy, guess what time it is?
It is 12:01 p.m.
Correct. And you know what other time it is? Catnaps.
It is time for catnaps.
Catnaps is one of our favorite parts of the show. Not that we don't like all the parts of the show, but it's when we read a bunch of short dreams, dream stories, one-sentence dreams, maybe just an idea. We want to get through as many dreams as we can. We don't really analyze them a lot, but we want to share your dreams and make sure you get on the show and become famous. Yeah.
Because we're still trying to.
We sing a lot.
We do. I bet it annoys people. Sorry about that.
Do we have some feedback? We don't. Oh, never mind.
Just my own self-consciousness telling me to shut up. I've got one from Mackenzie, and Mackenzie's from Huntsville, Alabama.
God, we had someone from Huntsville last week, I think.
Shout out to Huntsville.
Woo!
Okay. She says, this dream is a dream that I had a long time ago, but here it is anyhow. I was at a beach close to my house with some people, just relaxing. Then suddenly, from the water, someone appeared, and that person was holding a big knife.
No! out of my safe place, not out of the water. I'm not afraid of sharks, but a person comes out holding a knife. Oh, I don't like it.
Everyone was scared of that person, and somehow I knew this person was a serial killer. We were very afraid of that person, but we noticed... should you be afraid of a serial killer? Maybe just a little. A slight concern, perhaps.
I think so.
But then we noticed that this person was very slow. We all started walking instead of running away from him.
We were tired.
And we were just laughing and mocking him because he was so slow. He didn't show any reaction. He just continued to chase us slowly. But we were having fun, laughing and mocking at that serial killer. This dream seemed to last forever, and then I woke up.
That is a good one.
It's
you gotta be careful of those beach serial killers.
Try to get... Oh, you can't get me. You're too slow.
Come and
get me.
Oh, watch. Oh, you're close. Nope. I'm going to take 2 steps and I'm way ahead of you.
Tag, you're it.
Although, if we're going to be honest, Ted Bundy did go to the beach.
That's true. And pretend to be injured often.
Yes, to like help him get his like little sailboat onto his car, like because his arm was injured or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So you do have to worry about those beach serial killers.
You kind of do.
Sad but true. That's what they have on the beach. They have a flag that says what the tide is.
Yep. And
then they have a flag if there's marine life in the area, and then they have a flag if there's serial killers.
No dogs.
In the water. No dogs. Might be serial killer in the water.
Yeah. Might.
And riptide.
And a riptide.
Slow.
But just keep swimming sideways. Slow. You'll eventually break it.
They're also slow.
They are.
Everything is just nice and slow at this beach.
Here's a question for you. Of all the horror movies you've watched, who is the slowest murderer? I feel like you have the answer to this.
Oh, I do. I think it's Jason Voorhees. It's going to be a tie, really. A very close one. It's either going to be Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th, because he's always chasing these people through the woods, but he's just kind of walking at a brisk pace.
Yeah, that's true.
And they're the girls, and they're running, and they're sliding in the mud, and they're trying to get away, but
he's still just
kind of
walking.
A steady pace. But the same is also true for Michael Myers.
Yeah.
It just scares me a little more because we're getting into that season, but I love it. It's scary movie
So
seasons.
If we put, I know I love it too. If we put Jason and Michael Myers in the water, both with knives, and we say go.
Oh shit!
Who's winning? Or should I say who's losing? Who's not? Who's
I
getting
don't
away
think
from
anyone is losing in this situation, because this could be the best thing I've ever seen in my whole life. Michael tends to use a butcher knife, while Jason prefers a machete. So maybe the bigger, heavier machete would slow him down some.
But it could be used as a paddle.
Yes. Jason did make it to New York on a boat once. It was called Jason Takes Manhattan. It was part 8.
How about Jason Takes Clearwater Beach? 9.
Part 9. He goes to space too. But Michael is... Okay, so I know we're going to cut half of this out because you're just letting me go.
Because you're enjoying it, and that's why I asked. I knew you'd have something to say.
Michael, though, so Freddy, see, now you got me. Jason's kind of stayed the same. He's a big, hulking figure, with a mask and machete. He moves slowly, but it's still scary as fuck. He's more of a powerhouse, right? My favorite kill ever is, I've probably talked about it, where he gets a girl, kind of ties her up in a sleeping bag and just starts whacking her against a tree. Swinging the sleeping bag against a tree. He's strong. Okay.
But not so much
Not that
fast.
Michael isn't strong either, but it seems more methodical. Also, the storylines are so different. Michael is a real person that supposedly has escaped from a mental institution, while Jason is a kid that drowned and died at 10 and now is like some...
And we know Mindy's never seen any of these movies.
Oh, yeah. So we know Mindy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm like, yeah, Jason drowned.
Brooke will talk for hours.
Jason drowned at 10 because the camp counselors were having sex and weren't paying attention. But then he comes back somehow and is an adult male. And
Okay, final answer.
Final answer.
On a beach, which one are you picking to lose the race? Who's the slowest, you say?
I'm going to say Jason.
Okay. Well, there you have it, folks. Official response by Brooke. Jason's the slowest serial killer out there.
Let me just add one more thing. The only reason I chose Jason, it was that close, was just because when like Rob Zombie redid the first two, or not redid, but just kind of released Halloween 1 and 2 again, like after the originals, he kind of made Michael a little more aggressive, a little faster. And it was alarming because you've seen him all these years being so slow and methodical that it put a whole new spin on it.
Yeah.
So it's just because of Rob Zombie made him a little faster in those more recent movies. But
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I bet you wish you hadn't asked that question.
Now it is 12:10. No.
12:11.
Just to give you an update. All right. Brooke, do you have a catnap for us?
I do. And guess what? It's about a serial killer.
Get out of town.
I'm not joking.
Okay. Get out of the beach. Get out of the water.
Get right out of the beach.
Get out of the beach.
This is Justin, and he's from Freeport.
Okay.
I had a dream about hanging out with a friend that turned into us hiding from a serial killer in my house. We were trapped and out of ideas. In real life, we hadn't actually talked face to face. We had only been internet friends at this point. So in the dream, we said something like, at least we got to meet in person once, and resigned to our fate of being brutally murdered.
Well, look
Then
at the
he
upside
said-
of things.
Right, very positive.
It's good to hang out.
Then my friend said, wait, I think we can survive this if my alarm went off. I was so mad. I'm mad too. I want to know how they were going to escape the serial killer.
If we run faster.
If
Solved.
we...
Thanks, Mackenzie. Just mock him as slowness. All right. I've got one from Leanna, and she is from Arlington Heights, Illinois. So I just woke up from a pretty weird dream, and I don't know what to do or say going forward.
Okay.
Let's start with some information about me. I don't know if it'll help, but anyway, I'm a 23-year-old female in a healthy relationship, and I have a baby girl, 10 months old.
Oh, sweet.
This dream was like this, and I hope it makes sense. I dreamed that I was home with my baby girl, my mother, and my aunt. I was in the living room, and I was giving the baby a bath on the bed.
Mindy, as a mom, is that typically where you bathe your children? Your babies?
Not unless it's a water bed. No, I'm just kidding. Get it. That was a cheap one, I know. It's cheap.
You're on fire today.
It must be the Red Bull. No, I mean, like, they do have those little, like, baby, like, when they're newborns.
Tubs.
Like, little ones.
Yeah,
you put them in, like, those little
usually
tubs.
put
But
'em
at 10 months, probably not.
No, and you usually don't do it on the bed, right? Isn't it like in the sink or in the tub or, you put the little tub inside the big tub or, okay.
Yeah.
I'm not a mom of human children, but I didn't think that's how the bathing process worked.
Usually not. In the tub, along with my daughter, was the blanket that we usually sleep with at night.
Lovey.
Makes sense while it was in the bed, I guess. At one point, I was washing her, and I noticed something floating in the water.
Oh, no. Oh, no, Mindy.
It was some sort of gelatinous bag.
Whoa! Oh, it's worse than I thought it was going to be.
It's not good. Divided into two sections with 2 embryos inside, each in its own area. followed by what appeared to be the umbilical cord.
Wait, embryos with umbilical cords?
In a gelatinous bag floating in the bathtub with her child on the bed.
I'm seeing like a breast implant in my head for some reason, like this gelatinous
That's
bag.
what that comes with, yeah.
Like a breast implant, and then 2 embryos and umbilical cords coming from each?
Don't ask me like I know the answer to this strange question. But Leanna does go on to say.
That Red Bull, Mindy, that Red Bull, I'm telling you, kicking it up a notch.
My mother managed to take out my baby girl of the water and wrap her up in towels so she wouldn't get cold. But I didn't want my mom to see what was floating in the tub, and I don't know why. I took the blanket and the bathtub and went to the bathroom and poured all the contents into the toilet and flushed it. After I flushed it, I remembered that I had a state of peace and calm within me without any pain. And now I'm kind of confused and fearful because I have no idea what that's supposed to mean.
That is an interesting one. I mean, you can't actually see an embryo with your eyes,
I don't think you
right?
can see an embryo with your eyes. I think that's scientifically true.
And I don't think
I'm not.
But what?
We're not scientists.
We're
But
not doctors. It is a weird one. Like I feel like there is symbolism in this.
The new mom,
Yeah.
stressors,
Like,
right?
maybe
like a feling of failure or not being enough, and then it's like I don't know. We don't analyze these, so that's just my quick 2 cents.
Yeah, I don't like it. This is Patty, and she is from Austin. I had a dream where I had a bunch of other people, including my aunt, gathered around the table, and we all had very tiny horses in our hands. They were real and alive, but very disproportionate.
I'd say.
Mine had a comically large head and really little legs.
Oh.
I was cutting my horse's hair while my aunt was telling stories about how back when she was a kid, horses used to wear leather jackets and jeans.
Wait, is this My Little Pony? I loved My Little Ponies.
Oh, I did too. Did you girls go through that, or did that come back too late? Because I know My Little Pony came back hardcore, but
They did have some at some point. Yes,
right.
It didn't. It wasn't a long phase, but I sure did love. I mean, and then it had the little names on their little icons on their butts,
on their fannies.
Cutest thing ever.
Yeah, I love them.
Wish they were real.
Glitter, pink, blue, all the colors. All the colors.
So jeans and leather jackets. That's an interesting
leather jackets.
choice.
I, for some reason, said, "What were they, from Kazakhstan?" Patty says, "Literally makes no sense in real life, but in the dream, I was dying laughing at that statement like it was such a burn." What are they, from Kazakhstan? You know, those horses in Kazakhstan wear jeans and leather jackets.
And leather. Who's riding who?
Leather daddy?
Leather daddy?
likes leather.
Cabby daddy?
Cabby daddy. Oh, and then it goes off the rails as if this isn't enough. There was another part of the dream where I went to some daycare and there was a pottery class. At daycares, that's usually where they do pottery classes.
Well, it's good. It's, you want to learn art. All the different liberal arts.
It's a little challenging for children, I would think. But the instructor was an adult man with long curly hair and hipster-like vibe, and I asked him several times if I can make whatever I want out of clay, until he yelled at me and told me to do whatever I want and to just shut the fuck up. And then I just made a brown cone. That's
way
it.
easier.
I made a brown lump, and it means something.
Uh-huh.
It does, but the meaning's just inside for me. Because I couldn't make a bowl. Because I couldn't do anything else.
Art is subjective, Brooke. You can say it represents the brown, mushy part of my brain that just cannot comprehend making pottery because it's too hard.
Yes. That's it, exactly. How did you know?
I knew it. And then you write a 300-page essay on it. Damn, that's a lot to say about a brown lump of clay.
That's a big essay. Can we do 300-word essay?
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Okay.
But we can use 14-inch font. So it's really
that does help. It goes a lot quicker that way. I like brown clay. Okay.
You got another one?
Well, thank you. I like that one. Yes. Okay. Let's see. What I'm gonna do.
You crack me up.
Okay. All right. This one comes from Franklin from Melville, New York.
Okay, Franklin, let's hear it.
Hi, besties. To add some context, I stopped smoking for about a month, and the weirdest dreams started piling up, but none quite like this.
Oh.
I hear that a lot about stopping
smoking.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Just like with anything, you're gonna have like withdrawals or weird dreams and stuff.
So here's what Franklin wrote. I dreamt I suddenly appeared in a relationship with a punk rock girl. Which I had in the past, a punk rock relationship, but not as of recent.
I love not as of recent.
I like them.
The wording.
They're a turn on.
I do. I like Franklin.
I like a good punk rock girl. The pale girl had olive brunette hair with red highlights at the end of her hair.
Oh, almost like you, Mindy.
I wanted to do that so bad at one point in my life.
I did too.
I didn't.
I mean, I dyed my whole head lots of colors, but never just the tips. Like I wanted just those red tips.
I wanted to I wanted to do like the Avril Lavigne thing, like just anything that would just be like punk, different.
Yeah, or like when Christina Aguilera was like ex-Tina.
Oh, yeah, the dirty Christina.
The dirty Christina, and she had those red like streaks. Oh,
okay, so them. I'm going to say hashtag, but I'm going to give you your choice. What are we going to do? Both good choices.
You said it first, so hashtag what does Avril Lavigne dream? And it
That's
rhymes.
hard to say. Avril Lavigne dreams. I mean, I think that she has to answer since it rhymes.
Yeah, I mean, if you don't, I don't even know. I feel like that is a sign from the universe that you have to answer.
It is required by the universe. Avril,
sorry,
darling.
These aren't our rules. These are the universe's rules.
So Franklin was dating Avril Lavigne. No, I don't know if that's for sure. But she was, a punk girl. She wore all black and had plenty of piercings.
Okay. I like plenty of piercings.
Not too many, just plenty.
Just plenty of them.
She kept saying we had to go shopping for my new clothes so we could match in all black. Ooh. So we went to a store to do some shopping.
Was she buying? Because I'll buy whatever clothes you want then.
I'll date a punk rock girl if she's buying me a new wardrobe.
Yes, absolutely. We'll go to Hot Topic.
Oh my God. Hot Topic. I mean, back in the day it was like Gadzooks. Wonderful clothing. I remember having just finished paying for my clothes alongside my newfound girlfriend and then leaving Ross to go. Wait, she was at Ross? I didn't know Ross sold.
Ross is not punk rock. That just ruined the whole vibe. Dress for less?
After leaving Ross, well, she didn't want to spend too much if she was buying.
Ross.
Dress for less, not dress for punk. Or as the kids call it these days, emo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Emo was always its own thing, but I guess they could be.
I'm not going to start that debate with our besties about what's what. But
okay. No. Let's not. Let's just
Franklin's
cut that out.
Leaving with Avril from Ross. Dress for less.
Dress for less.
I look outside, and the parking lot has turned into a beautiful green hill pasture.
Oh,
all of a sudden, I look down, and I see the appearance of a lamb. Yes, a literal lamb.
Oh,
well, it's not literal.
baby.
It's in a dream, technically, but...
but literally in the dream.
A lamb. When I looked up, I could see a wild horse galloping towards me in the distance.
Not a tiny one?
Nope, regular
Not
size.
a disconfigured one.
And there he was.
Ooh.
It's going to be a celebrity, Brooke. Samuel L. Jackson as his usual bald self.
As his usual bald.
He had to put that in parentheses.
Why
As his usual bald self, in a black sweater, came in vigilantly riding on a wild Mustang, neighing ever so proudly as it reared and stood up on its back 2 legs, with Samuel still attached to its back like a proud warrior ready for battle.
Well, wouldn't you be a proud horse if you had Samuel L. Jackson riding you? That sounded dirty.
I would be the proudest horse
I'd be
ever.
like proudest horse ever.
Samuel L. Jackson takes one look at me and starts laughing.
Oh no!
And then I woke up.
That's
He's like,
it the
Franklin, you're not in your punk phase. You're not your punk era.
We're like, Franklin, you can't buy punk clothes at Ross.
I laugh at him too.
You can buy swords and horses with your points.
At the Ross.
At Ross.
Horse for less? Punk for less? I don't know.
Mindy, you're killing me today. Thank you so much, Jonathan, for your crazy premonition dream. We really thank you for submitting that. It was very brave of you. And also, we had some awesome catnaps, as always. Mm-hmm. And thank you so much for submitting those. People, keep them coming. We're going to read them. You're going to enjoy them. I promise.
That's a guarantee.
Guarantee.
All right, Brooke, time for topic. This came to me recently because, my niece, Alexis, just recently had a baby.
Yes.
Sweet little Mabel. And Lexi posted a video of her in our family Snapchat of Mabel. She was sleeping and she was laughing and kind of doing this little smiling, giggling in her sleep. And she's still only a few months old. So she's still a tiny little thing.
So cute. Just so cute.
And so it got me thinking, back when my kids were little and how they used to, giggle or laugh in their sleep. And it happened, a lot. They'd just be, zonked and just give these smiles or just these giggles.
They are your children, Mindy. Of course, they're probably having some kind of wacko dream and they're dying laughing.
That's true. And so, if you look in the parent groups on Facebook or baby center boards, it seems pretty normal. And new parents will ask about this. Is it normal for my baby to laugh or, smile in their sleep? And there's actually a lot of documents out there about how babies laugh in their sleep, and it's quite healthy and quite normal.
Good.
But why, is my question. So why do people laugh in their sleep? Because it doesn't just happen to babies, it also happens to adults. And so let's look to see if it's normal.
I pray to God that it's not, because I know I'm not normal, and I know I've laughed in my sleep.
I know I have to. So talking about babies, let's start with that. In a journal on the National Library of Medicine, I don't know if he's doctor. A Mr.
Dr. Nope.
Dr. Nope. Doctor. It didn't say doctor, so I'm not going to assume.
Okay.
A man by the name of Hannon M.L. Shankankiri. He says that it's normal for babies at birth not to have a normal circadian rhythm. And that's pretty obvious. By the time, you bring them home, they're not fully sleep prepared. So they will sleep easily during daytime as well as night because their circadian rhythm hasn't been quite established yet.
I know we've talked about it, but this is such a fascinating thing for me because with any babies in any, the animal world too, let's say kittens, puppies, human babies, they kick, they make noises, you can tell that they're dreaming. It's where is this information coming from though?
Yes.
You are newborn.
It's interesting.
You have nothing in your bank to be dreaming. You don't know what a squirrel is, but you're dreaming of one and it's driving you nuts and you're going
running
crazy.
As fast as your little paws could take you. Yes.
Yeah, it's so fascinating to me. Where does this information innately come from?
Right. Oh, and by the way, I didn't even give the title of my topic, which is laughing in your sleep. It's also known as hypnogely.
Hypnogely?
Hypnogely.
How did you not say that first? It's my favorite word.
Hypnogely. I mean, come on. So this Mr. Hannon Shekankiri says that sleep cycles are present in infants. So even as young as babies, there are non-REM and REM periods of sleep. Oh. Now, I'm going to do a quick refresher. I know we've talked about this on past episodes, but in case you've joined us recently, a quick recap on cycles of sleep. You have your awake state, and then you have stage 1, which is your dreaming state. It's right below being awake, so to say. And that's when all your dreams occur. And then there's stage 2, stage 3, and stage 4 is the deepest. Those are all 2, 3, and 4 are all non-REM phase of sleep. So you usually don't dream in those stages. It's just your most restorative part of your sleep.
Obviously, you're deep asleep.
For babies, they have those cycles. They have both REM and non-REM cycles. But they classify it as quiet sleep, observe like minimal muscle movements, rhythmic breathing cycles, and active sleep, which would be kind of like that REM cycle, which is more sucking motion, twitches, smiles, laughs, and sometimes limb movements.
Toots?
But it's... Why is that cute? You say
toots. Toots.
Oh, tooting. Yes, they toots. They toot.
Tooting. You know how they say that babies are like smiling and you're like, no, they don't
gassy.
smile at this age. They're just a little gassy. But it looks like smiles, so go for it.
Of course, yeah. But it's a little contrary to when we are older that they have these limb movements or these reactions in their REM cycles, whereas as you get older, that changes to where you're more paralyzed during your REM cycles, usually, unless you have some sort of parasomnia.
Sure.
Now, an interesting fact is that infants younger than 6 months spend 50% of their sleep time in REM cycles compared to 20% of adults. They spend 50% of their sleep in REM, and we only spend 20% of our time in REM.
What are these babies dreaming? Hashtag babies.
What do babies
dream? Any baby can respond.
Anyone can respond, and we'll give you a free onesie and a passy that says, "Sweet dreams, bitches." Oh my gosh, we should come up with a baby line.
You'll be
so
the
cute.
Coolest kid ever. Or like one
I know
that
my nieces
says,
would probably buy some.
I don't like it.
I don't like any of it.
That's like when they're like 2T.
Yes.
When they're size 2T. I don't like it.
They just say no.
No.
The other interesting fact about infants is when they fall asleep, they have an initial active REM cycle. Whereas in adults, it takes 90 minutes to go down to that deep sleep before you cycle back up to a REM cycle, or a level 1. So in babies, they immediately start at a level 1 before dropping down to deep sleep. So just something a little different about babies. So to answer the question, yes, it is very common for infants to laugh, smile, and even giggle in their sleep. But what about adults? I have to mention my dad. I think I might have mentioned this on the podcast before, but he says my mom laughs a lot in her sleep, but she sounds like Popeye, and so she'll be like, like she'll sound Popeye laughing.
You can never do that again, because I will never survive that again.
So my mom is one of those sleep laughers, I guess.
She doesn't laugh like that, though, like in real life. So why is she laughing like Popeye?
I don't know. I'm glad she's happy.
Does she also eat spinach in her dreams?
And she flexes her muscles. Lynn's got it going on.
She does. She does.
But I did pull an email from a bestie, Ryan, who wrote us about sleep laughing. So I'm going to kind of throw in an extra little catnap here, if it's okay.
Yes, please. Thanks, Ryan.
Ryan said, I woke up laughing from a dream. In it, I was in a restaurant with Harry Shum Jr. Any idea?
I don't know who Harry Shum Jr. is. Should I?
I'll look it
now
up.
I feel stupid.
If you don't know Bessie, Harry Shum Jr. is a Costa Rican actor, an American actor. Oh. So he is was best known for his role in Grey's Anatomy.
That's why I never saw it. Is that show still
Glee.
on? That's got to be one of the longest running shows of all time.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. I don't know what he is.
Did you ever watch it?
Oh, I do. Now I recognize him. Yeah, I recognize him now. Okay. All right. Okay. He was in the restaurant with Harry, and the menu listed a dish called spinasta. And I asked the server, what was spinasta?
I want it, but...
I know. Maybe you do.
I want it. I don't know what it is, but I want it. So awesome.
Instead of just telling me, the server brought me out the dish. It was just pasta with spinach. Spinasta.
Spinasta. Spinasta.
It was so funny to me in the dream for some reason. I woke my wife up and myself laughing so hard. When I woke up again finally later that morning, I Googled what it means to wake up laughing from a dream. Apparently it's normal and common, and it's called Hypnogely. I love it if you cover it on the podcast. So thanks, Ryan, for submitting this as a topic, because it got me to thinking about, babies laughing in their sleep, my mama laughing in her sleep like Popeye. But when it comes to adults, most cases of Hypnogely is not harmful in any way.
I'm sorry,
it's
you
most
can't
observed.
say Hypnogely anymore.
Hypnogely without laughing.
You just have to say sleep laughing or something, because I can't make it through the rest of this with Hypnogely.
I'm going to say it like a lot, though, just so you know.
I knew you were.
So going with what Ryan said, yes. In most cases, laughing in your sleep is not harmful in any way. It's mostly observed during the REM stage cycle, which, again, why babies do it more is because they are in more REM cycles than we are.
50%.
50%, which is crazy. Scientists believe it's most likely caused just from an amusing dream, like spinasta. But what if night laughing is more consistent and doesn't go away? In a recent study, 10 people who normally would report sleep laughing, they hooked them up to electrodes, our wonderful sleep studies. And 9 out of 10 of them happened in REM cycle, explaining when they woke up, they had a funny dream that made them chuckle. But in one of these cases, it happened in a non-REM cycle. And perhaps that was something more serious. So this is what happened when a 32-year-old New York woman who had been laughing in her sleep every night for the previous 4 years. Every
4
night.
years?
Her husband called it creepy cackling. And it would happen several times a night, beginning soon after she falls asleep, but with random bouts of laughter continuing throughout the night.
Is this restful sleep, or is this Guinness Book of World Records where someone has hiccups for 4 years?
Well, here's the thing. So there is a YouTube video of her having a sleep experiment, sleep study. So there is a video on YouTube. I'm going to place the link in the show notes. It is fascinating because what they're calculating here is when they hooked her up, they're watching brainwaves to see which stage of sleep she's in. They're recording her audibly, and they're also tracking her movements. And so what they saw in the study was 3 separate events, which are known as paroxysms, or paroxysms just like a subtle or uncontrollable outburst of an emotion.
Okay.
So they found 3 of these throughout the night when they were observing her. The first one happened for 1 second when she was transitioning from wakefulness to sleep. But they noticed there was no...
She laughed, or it was just... okay.
Yep.
These are all laughter?
Laughed, yeah. I'm sorry,
Okay.
yep. 1 second of laughing, no movements, and no changes seen on the EEG. The second event lasted for 2 seconds during an N2 stage of sleep, which is the non-REM, the first non-REM stage. There was an arousal of her, but there was no movements after that, and no changes on the EEG. And then the third event was lasting 1 second as well, same in the N2 stage of sleep. So that was concerning for doctors because they're like, well, it's not tied to dreams that it's happening in the NREM stage of sleep.
This is concerning me, too, because I've had an EEG.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they couldn't figure out what was going on in this noggin of mine.
Can you imagine that woman's husband for 4 years? I mean, because there's good laughing, there's and then there's whoa. Could you imagine? Right. Is it joyful or scary laughing?
Some you can sleep through, some you're like, what the fuck is everything?
Is she going to kill me right now?
Do I need to hide?
Bad. Yes.
Yeah,
but
truly.
Throughout the night for 4 years, that is concerning.
That is a long time.
So this woman's doctors were concerned that they were happening in the non-REM stages of sleep. And so they did know that there are some medications that can cause Hypnogely, which include some antidepressants and some antipsychotic medicines. They can cause like a sleep laughing effect. Interesting. But they ruled this out. She wasn't taking anything at the time that would have been still in her system. The other thing it made them evaluate her for was for a possible seizure disorder. Have you heard of gelastic seizures?
No, I have not.
So just like hypnogely, gel is probably a Latin root word for laughter. So gelastic seizures is a type of seizure that involves uncontrollable laughing or giggling. Now, typically it's noticed in waking stages of people who have it, but sometimes it can happen in sleep. And sleep laughing can be a sign of this gelastic seizure.
Well, that could explain my seizures. I mean, I do laugh hysterically quite often.
All the time, just generally.
Just in general. I didn't know it was a seizure.
It could be.
It could be because they never diagnosed me why I had mine. I could just be like, I just laugh.
Could be. What they say is that these unusual electrical activities in part of your brain that controls laughter, and that those increased unusual electrical activities are causing the seizure, is also causing laughing. For this woman, for this woman who lives in New York, that was ruled out. It was not a seizure. So for her, they said that's not it. But there was a similar case, however, where a 40-year-old man had presented symptoms of pathological laughter during his sleep. And at the end of the day, he was found to have a non-cancerous tumor on his 6th cranial nerve. It's known as a hypothalamic hamartoma. It was causing him gelastic seizures, causing him to laugh in day and at night.
I can't even with all your terminology. That's bananas. So this guy ended up having a tumor that was causing him to laugh.
Yes.
Wow. Do I have a tumor?
I hope not.
I hope not.
But
too,
usually you laugh in
I'm
reaction to something, not just like randomly.
I don't know. Well, I always said my sense of humor was pretty random and I would laugh at some weird things, but
just go ask your doctor about gelastic seizures, maybe.
I'm going to have to talk to my neurologist about this.
But for this 40-year-old man, they actually surgically removed the tumor, and his nighttime laughter stopped.
Now, this is probably, again, a response you're going to give me is don't ask me questions I don't know the answer to. But does the laughter in insomnia and sleep cause joy like it does in waking life? So like if, he didn't have it anymore, was that some kind of joy he was emoting even in his sleep, or somehow his dreams were giving him some kind of joy? And then,
but again, this doesn't happen in the REM cycle. These are ones that they're noticing in non-REM. So he doesn't even know that. From what I see, these patients don't even know that they're doing it. They have no recollection of it in the morning. So I don't know that it really releases, I would say, like, I think regular laughter probably releases endorphins to make you happy. But I don't think this would have the same effect. Now, I don't know exactly. I'm not a scientist, just a podcaster. But from what I know. Because it would be sad. You're a happy-go-lucky person, and all of a sudden you have a tumor removed, and you're just like, nothing's funny anymore.
Everything's just I mean, you got to get rid of the tumor. I'm sorry, you do.
Yes.
Yeah, that would suck if it was like a benign tumor that was like just resting on some part of your brain that made you super happy when you were awake and asleep.
Just one final thing to note, and we previously mentioned this on the podcast, the amount of research currently being done to identify early signs of Parkinson's with people who have REM behavior disorder, or RBD. They also notice people who have Parkinson's are more likely to experience REM behavior disorder, which can turn into a case of hypnogely. So now they're doing a lot of studies to see if there's a correlation between night laughter being one of the REM behavior disorders that can signify later life Parkinson's. Wow. I just find that part fascinating. That is like a part of research and science that is happening right now that they're trying to find a cure for, or at least a cause for it. So
there seems to be Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but there does seem to be quite a bit of information out there that does tie dreams with Parkinson's, or at least how you dream and leading to a possible Parkinson's in the future. It doesn't necessarily
like a
mean
correlation or a higher
there's
percentage.
a correlation. Yeah, exactly. That is fascinating.
I just want to finish up by saying that people who present with this symptom of night laughing or hypnogely, it's important to distinguish whether it's happening in REM cycle, if it's happening more than it should, if it's not happening during dream cycles. Something to talk to your doctor about. I mean, it's definitely one of those things that I had no idea happened, or that this was even a thing, that it could be a cause of seizures or other medical conditions. Just inform you guys, bestie, if you feel like your sleep laughing or your partner's sleep laughing is more than just a funny dream, it's worth mentioning to your doctor.
It's painless, people. It's painless. Just do it. Better safe than sorry.
It's better to know. Mm-hmm. Better to know.
Yep.
So next time you're scrolling TikTok, and whether you see like new parents filming their babies laughing in their sleep, or a wife that is taking video of her husband for America's Funniest Home Videos, which I saw, it's hilarious. This guy's just like cracking up in his dream. Enjoy the laughter.
Enjoy it. Enjoy the ride while it lasts, right?
Yep. Enjoy the Hypnogely. It's such a weird name. I agree. But it is funny. Hypnogely.
Always enjoy the Hypnogely.
I like a little Hypnogely with my toast in the morning. Or
just a little.
Really finely spread on a bagel.
It's
chef's kiss.
Chef's kiss.
Do you take Hypnogely with your coffee in the morning?
I don't drink coffee. I just take my Hypnogely.
I believe it. As fun as that was, it wasn't as fun as much fun as I had with you this weekend, because we were
Mindy,
in person together.
It was unbelievable. It was so much fun.
Bestie, if you missed it, we had a live show to celebrate our 100th episode. We donned costumes. We played bingo. I would say the highlight of my day was hitting the streets and doing a segment we called Sleepwalking with REMelations.
It was the best thing we ever came up with. We were just walking the streets, asking people randomly about their dreams, dream stories, and recording it all. And we went around on the streets and we just interviewed people. Kind of went up like, hey, tell us about your dream stories. And you wouldn't believe what we got from people. It was just the best. I want to do it like every weekend.
I do
it
too.
was so much fun.
And that's the thing that
fun.
I loved is I was surprised, maybe not surprised. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised because everyone dreams, but how willing people were to talk about their dreams. Yes. I don't think there was many people that we went up to that just like, no, we don't want to share. I think
maybe a few.
Yeah. At least one person in the group usually had something. It was, I think, neat. We stopped a couple and he looks at his wife. He's like, I haven't told you this yet. And then he proceeds to tell us a visitation dream he had with his mother only a few nights prior and how wonderful it was. And his wife's like, you didn't even tell me you had this dream. I thought that was pretty cool.
It was so, I mean, words can't describe what it was like. It was very special. It was like we felt connected and people were so happy to just, once they saw us out on the street, then people kind of got a little curious too, I think. And they're like, what are these yahoos doing?
What are these nut jobs doing?
We were in our pajamas the whole time.
Of course
I forgot to mention that part. We were in our pajamas.
We should always
the whole
assume
time.
we're in our pajamas in
so
public.
When people in pajamas run up to you with a microphone, it might be a little alarming, but we have such a great audience and such great participation. It was so much fun. And I even got the pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, of hearing Mindy here with a little sleep talking, not sleepwalking, but she was sleep talking.
So, So we were in a hotel, and just like best friends do with sleepovers, we are sleeping in the same room. We're sleeping in the same bed. We are sharing our space, and I fell asleep because I was dead tired because I was up till like 2 a.m. the night before. And you said I was soliloquying all over the place.
Yes, you were. It was almost like immediate though, which
Really?
was hilarious to me because I was thinking, okay, well, she's going to listen to some podcasts and fall asleep, and I'm going to watch my Hulu and fall asleep. And then it was like within like 5 minutes, she's saying something and I don't understand anything it is. And I'm looking at her, sound asleep, don't know what she said, still don't. But she said it with gusto, enough for me to be like, what?
Whoa. I wish we would have had the microphone still on.
I do too. It seemed good natured. It didn't seem like you were having like a nightmare or anything. So
I was having the best day. It probably just continued on to my dream.
Just continued on into your dreams.
I was probably like, what do you dream? Tell me in my microphone.
You're still working.
I'm still
in
working.
Your dream.
I still work in my sleep. But hey, bestie, one thing that we're going to do is we're going to compile our sleepwalking audio files for an extra episode we're going to drop in our sleepover squad. So if you want to catch the fun of us roaming the streets of Dubuque, Iowa, I know, crazy town, to get in front of people and ask them what they dream, join our sleepover squad. You can do that. How, Brooke?
You just have to go to REMelations.com/support. You can sign up for as little as $5 a month. And even if you watch just this month, you're going to make your money back in so much because you're
Joy and laughter.
Joy and laughter is what's coming your way if you sign up. Again, just $5 a month, and you get access to this special sleep, walking, and other footage too.
Yeah. We'll also put up our 100th live show. All of our live shows are for our besties on Sleepover Squad. So if you enjoy the show, need a little more, go check it out.
We all need a little more.
We do.
$5 won't kill you.
Nope, it won't. We're worth a cup of coffee. It's cheaper than Starbucks these days. We're at least worth one cup of Starbucks.
We're worth
Grande.
2 cups of Starbucks a month. Probably
true. Because where else do you hear words like Hypnogely?
Hypnogely.
I had so much fun with you this weekend. I had fun playing bingo. Oh, you should tell them about my bingo mistake. This was
so many things I wish we had caught on camera or
we just
audio.
have to record 24/7 when we're together.
We do. We need to do 24/7 recording because at bingo, Mindy got a bingo, and it was a double bingo.
I was so excited.
She yelled,
last game.
Bingo! It was the very last game. Guess what?
$50 in the line.
It was not a good bingo. She did not look at her card correctly. So
Just
everyone
like reading
was like,
is hard. Dyslexia, numbers. Bingo should not be. People with dyslexia should not be able to play bingo. Honestly,
to be hard for you.
I know that.
I'm not laughing
I know that.
but
I was so excited.
You have to understand building up to it. She's like,
One more.
I've got like two more. And then like, I'm one away. And so we're like kind of like keeping it cool.
Chill,
like,
yeah.
okay, maybe.
The sweat
maybe
beads
she'll get
start
it.
forming under my armpits. Like
She's
my
got
heart is starting to
a dauber that is glitter.
It's a glitter blue dauber, of course.
It's the perfect dauber except for it's blue.
Not pink.
She is daubing away, if that's a word.
I'm dabbing away. I'm dabbing it up.
She yells, bingo! Unfortunately, folks, Four Corners did not count as a bingo, and you needed a double bingo, and
Didn't have it. Didn't
have it. But guess what?
Next
Who
number
cares?
called, someone else had it, and so I
Next
walked
number
away.
called. So you made someone very happy that night, Mindy.
Thanks for making me feel better. I would have preferred the $50 though.
I know you would have preferred that, but if you had yelled bingo and gotten bingo, that person would have been like, ah, shucks.
I know.
Or as I like to say, ah, nuts.
I thought I was going to be like beat up by some old people walking out the door, but that was funny because then we had to go record the live show, so we're like, bye. Like it looked like we were leaving because I was embarrassed.
And we were also in our pajamas at bingo too, just so you know.
Yep. Yeah, that we were.
So people were already looking at us. Mindy yelling a false bingo brought more attention to
False bingo.
false bingo. That needs to be a shirt.
For sure. All right, bestie, that wraps up another episode. Real quick, if you're enjoying the show, make sure to tell your friend about the podcast. Tell your favorite bingo partner who may have just embarrassed themselves about the show. Tell that beach serial killer, because you got time. He's really slow, and you're not going to be out of breath running. So just be like, hey, by the way, check out this podcast. I'll be over here when you catch up.
This is a minimal level of activity needed at excursion at the beach.
Yeah, that's it.
You just need to walk.
Or you can tell your favorite Cabby daddy about the show. I just like saying that. I'm just thinking like a sexy Cabby daddy.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Next time you get in the cab, you know you're going to be thinking if he's a Cabby daddy. And if he is, tell him about the podcast.
I will.
Tell him you can go listen to it together.
I promise.
And that's, bestie, that's how we grow. That's how our numbers increase each and week, is by you just telling one person. And so we appreciate you for doing that.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you. So, bestie, grab your tiniest horse. And until next week, sweet dreams, bitches.
My little pony,
my little pony. And then that's how I learned to braid, was on the tail of my little pony.